Music is a vehicle that can take you anywhere you want to go, anytime you want to be there. No matter what you do, why you do it, who you choose to do it with or for, music will ensure that the moment is always just right. The saxophone is the luxury sports model of all that insists that you experience the ultimate groove that sets the mood for whatever you choose. Mighty Horn Music presents the COVID Concert Series with saxophonist Travis Bridges. Live from the Hollywood home studio. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Thank you for tuning in. You are now on a musical first-class journey to anywhere you want to be.
Hello. How you doing? Here's hoping you're having a wonderful Wednesday evening. My name is Travis Bridges, and welcome to another edition of Swym, Pwym. Say what you mean and play what you mean. Swym, Pwym is an acronym. That rhymed, didn't it? Swym, Pwym is an acronym for say what you mean and play what you mean. Acronym for say what you mean and play what you mean. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how that got started. It got started whenever COVID hit, and I had to find something to do. So I started to live stream from my Hollywood home studio. I didn't even have a Hollywood home studio until COVID hit. So that's how it came about. And after a few months of live streaming, I tapped into some other skills. I've got about 30 minutes of media/radio background. I thought maybe I can do a little bit more talking and less playing, because after an hour of saxophone every week, didn't get boring, but I just thought I would switch it up a little bit. So what I did was I created what I'm now calling a spin-off. And on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I come on with my version of a live stream. Everybody else is doing it, so I figured I've got something to say, so I could just say it. And this is one of those times where nobody is here, but I'm cool because I do have at least 2 friends that will watch it later on, and who knows who will see it later. And you never know. So what I'm doing is practicing anyway. I have made some major moves over the last few days, and I will be setting up and changing up my intro and putting some format together. What I've been doing over the past few months, though, is just kind of practicing, getting used to being in front of the camera and deciding on how I'm going to structure the format. Right now, I think I'm just being, politically correct, if that's even terminology, of just kind of trying to do the formatics of coming on and just saying hello and, just getting comfortable with it, as I said. But it's probably going to get a little bit more intense, not in a intense way, but more like a little more in-depth. That's the word I'm looking for. It'll be more in-depth as time goes. So with that being said, I'm going to get some callers on, but I do have a couple of topics that I'm going to talk about this week, and I'm going to name them right off, and then we'll get to them as we get to them. And I want to say thank you to the 2 viewers that I have. Thank you so much, whoever you are, because nobody's in my chat room, and that's okay. I'm not here for the numbers. I'm here for the content. So as much as I wish there was 100 million, thousand, billion, trillion people watching or listening, I'm okay with just whatever's here, because I was always told who's supposed to be there is going to show up, and who's supposed to get it is going to get it. Because that's one thing about reciprocity. You usually get what's coming to you, and you usually get what belongs to you. I think it was the Miami Mass Choir who had a song back in 96, 97, and it goes like this. What God has for me, it is for me. And then they would say it again. What God has for me, it is for me. I think they'll say it a few times, and then they'll go, it is for me. It is for me. Well, I kind of sort of adapted that, and I believe it, and that goes for you, me, and your mama, your daddy, and everybody else that's still living and breathing. What God has for you is for you, and what is not meant for you will not be for you. So whoever is here is getting what they're supposed to be getting, and whoever will join later will also get that. But I was supposed to be talking about topics, right? Before I talk about my topics, I want to talk about what Swym is, and why I decided to obey the hunch to respond. And it's because I just believe that we have too many. I don't know, how do you say it? Just too many unpieces, if that's a word. Too much chaos going on. Too many disagreements. Too many arguments. Too many people that are, fussing and fighting. When if we would just kind of sort of talk to each other, we would be okay. But we don't do that, and we don't do that because I guess we're taught to have our way, or to listen more to our feelings, our emotions, and our beliefs. And sometimes the truth just doesn't matter, and what really is just doesn't matter. When we can't get our way, just like a kid, sometimes we stomp our feet and we pout, and we just, as my mama would say, we act ugly. And it's part of why I believe there's a whole lot less peace where there should be nothing but peace, because I don't believe we were, well, I won't get into that. Anyway, I just believe in communicating and talking, listening and hearing, listening to what's actually being said, listening to what a person actually means, and then making sure we, even if we have to, say back hey, is this what I thought you said, or is this what you really meant? It's just open communication, talking and making sure you hear what is actually being said, what is actually meant, and then discussing it to reach a point of what is, and then just being okay with what is, because sometimes when you find out what is, you may not like it. And I heard one preacher say, a motivational speaker, preacher slash YouTuber say, the truth is unbelievable. And, I found that to be truth in many ways. But anyway, I was going to get to my topics. By the way, if you'd like for me to chat about something, I'm not a psychologist or a psychologist, a psychiatrist. I'm not a professional of any kind other than what I do with my music and, my radio background with producing. So I do that on a professional level. But as it relates to counseling, that's not who I am. I just speak from a layman's perspective, and I just give my perspective, and I don't have to be right. And as I like to say, I don't want anyone to prove me wrong, but I am open for anyone that would be open to add to what it is I believe I've been now called to just bring awareness to, and that is a deeper and more intense way to communicate. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, where did that go? Man, I can't be doing that. Oh no, where's my chats? Oh, that's okay. I'll figure it out. Oh, there they go. I guess I'll be still now and let well enough do. Okay, here we go. So, oh man, I was talking during all of that. I didn't mean to do that. Or what was happening was, anyway, never mind. So the topics are, wow, the very first one. Well, I'm going to tell you the topic, and then I'm going to tell you how I arrived at that. So, okay. Why is cussing so bad? Cussing, not cursing. Cussing. Those 4-letter words that are not appropriate, particularly in public or in a professional setting. Why is cussing so bad? And why the truth is not enough. And not waiting for the perfect time to make a change. Why do we wait till the right time when we need to do something, or when we have an urge, or when we know we need to handle some business? We'll wait till we'll wait till it's perfect instead of just, putting a plan together and then just going with it. I think it was Les Brown who said, jump and grow your wings on the way down. And then what else? And not quitting when we hit the wall. That's another topic. When you run into a snag, not giving up when things get tough. Because I heard it said, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And Yeah, that's it. Oh, and then this is another Les Brown quote I heard earlier today. He said, "You don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great." So, yeah, that's it. Why is cussing so bad? The truth not being enough, not waiting for the perfect time to make a change, and not quitting when we hit the wall. And you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to start in order to be great. So, with that being said, hey, Anthony Morrow, what's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks so much for your loyalty. I appreciate it. I'm going to send you a check one day. But what I'm going to do right now is get on the phone and see can I chat with some of my good old buddies and pals. So let's see how this works. Here we go. Yeah, we got a ring-a-ding-ding. And let's see what happens when the phone is answered.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
You answered the phone like you had your professional voice on, like, hello.
Well, okay.
Is it
something wrong with that?
No. I just kind of like to hear, my good friends when they don't know they're not going to be live or when we're not formal, they'll be like, yo, what's up, dog? And then when you're all formal, you're like, hello.
Well, that's how I speak, from
It's
time
okay.
to time.
Are you eating?
I just finished eating a pistachio.
A pistachio?
Well, I had a few pistachios. I just ate the last one.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to say hello to R Monk, who's back after some kind of vacation. I don't know where she's been. Boy, I tell you, I'm not even going to get into
The
that. Well, one of my moderators finally decided to show up after 3 or 4 months of not even being present anywhere. I was just making acknowledgement of that. But anyway, how was your day?
My day was okay.
Yeah? What made your day okay?
The weather, it just was okay. I got a lot of stuff done.
Mhm.
And I'm off for the next couple of days because I'm going out of town. So that's always a good deal. I just got to get ready, which I have not done so yet, but that's okay.
People get ready. There's a train a-coming. I hope you got your ticket, 'cause you won't get on board. Let's see, what is this? What is she saying?
Okay, Finger. Listen, a couple things. Do you have something to talk about? Because I have something to talk about.
Well, no, wait, I just mentioned you weren't listening, and my moderator just told me that I was talking loud. I'm in a different location, and there's nothing I can do about it right now. It's just temporary. But in a few more days, and within the next week or two, I'll be in a really cool place where I can make some real noise. So she said I'm talking loud. Let's see if I can do something about that. Let's see. Maybe I am. Let's see if I can turn this bit. Oh, wow. Maybe it is turned up a little bit. Hello. Let's see. You don't have to text me, moderator, to tell me that. I kind of sort of know. But I talk loud anyway. But I just kind of put my input down just a little bit. I'd rather be a little too loud and clear than too soft and unclear. So as I was saying, I do have a topic, and then we can jump on yours too. Okay? So I tell you what we'll do. We'll do it a little different. Okay? I'm going to tell you all 3 or 4 of mine, and then you'll pick the one we go in. I was going to go down the list, but since you have one, I think I want to give you the opportunity to have your topic. So I'm going to tell you what mine are, and then you tell me which one you want to address, and then we'll just run our mouths. What do you say? Yeah? Okay, so here's the first one. Why is cussing so bad? The second one is the truth just not being enough. Why? Why isn't the truth enough? And not waiting for the perfect time to make a change. And not quitting when we hit a wall. Not quitting when time. What are you rattling, honey? Hello?
I'm here. I just moved a piece of paper.
And you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to start to be great. I heard that one today. I've heard it 1,000 times, but when I heard it today, it just kind of made me think, well, then just throw that in for good measure. So that's what I did.
I like that one. You have actually shared that with me, and it was I remember that, and I thought that was really, it was very appropriate, and you were actually right. So.
Okay. Got Christine S. in the building. People are shortening their names. I guess they're getting popular and they want to stay incognito. So thank you, Christine, for hanging out. I appreciate you. Okay, so did you hear the topics? Do I need to go over them again, or which one would you like to address before we go into your hot topic?
Let's talk about when you hit a wall and not quitting.
Oh, you would go there, wouldn't you?
Well, because I had this experience not too long ago.
Oh, really?
Yes, and you may recall on my 10th day of 75 hard, I fell, and I just knew it was over.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my wall. It was very, very big, and I had a moment for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember having a conversation with you. I don't even know if I had talked to you. Maybe it could have been via text message, but we definitely had a conversation. And I was just like, basically I said, I'm going to have to start over. And you said, well, you can do other things. You don't have to do stuff around your knee. And I was like, I guess he is right. Even though that had not occurred to me prior to that. Maybe because I was just in my feelings and, I was having some pain and I was just so annoyed at myself and a whole bunch of things. So I couldn't see that.
Right.
But you helped me to see that, and I am forever grateful for you because I got through it, and I feel like a stronger person for it. I'm glad that you were able to talk me off the ledge, so to speak, because I couldn't see that for myself at the time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
thank you.
My pleasure. Congratulations. That was just one of many. I guess you and I have had over the years of just sharing, reasons why we should try to continue to move on. And I guess for our listeners and viewers, we were talking about not quitting when we hit a wall. Sometimes when we start out on a journey, we have things that'll disencourage us, and it's so easy to say, okay, well then I'm just going to quit, or I'm going to stop, or I'm going to slow down, or I'm just going to not do it all together. But, it's good to be able to dig inside yourself and find that strength to move forward. But when you have good company around you that can encourage you to continue to move on, it's always a good thing, because I've heard it said, if you refer back to your whys, it always helps you to get going. So I don't know who's out there or who's listening or watching. You may be encountering something just like I am, and we all are. It gets tough sometimes. You can even slow down, because it did slow you down. You did have a wall that slowed you down, but you didn't quit. So that's the key, okay? Sometimes things beyond our control will slow us down, but we have to be determined and be strong, to continue to not just fulfill our goals, but to fulfill our purpose in life. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there. You want to take another one of mine, or you want to jump on your hot topic?
Well, we can talk a little bit about mine.
Well, no, there's no little bit. We're going to save yours to last. Yours is going to be the one to take us out.
But, hello, did you just not ask me? Are we going to talk about yours or another one of mine?
I know.
Did you just not ask me?
Okay, so go ahead. So there's no little bit. We're just going to hit it or not.
We can talk about one of yours. I don't care.
Oh, see, now look at that. You just quit. Because I just threw that. I did that kind of. Now you know how I am. I was messing with you. So we're gonna do another one of mine or yours. I was trying to avoid the long drawn out, and you talking about a little bit. So tell me, where are we going? We're gonna do yours or mine?
Well, now I have to remember another one of yours. Yours was the...
Okay, no problem. I got it right here on my little trusty notepad. Okay, I'll read them all. You tell me which one. Why cussing is so bad. Why the truth is not enough. And why waiting. Why do we have to wait for the perfect timing, to make a change? And you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to start in order to be great. So those were the ones that were left. Do you remember those, or do I need to do them again?
No, I remember, and I'm not sure if I have a whole lot to say, but I agree with most of them, especially the one in regards to sometimes you just got to get started, and you learn along the way. And I'm sure so many people, especially so many successful people, maybe did not wait until they had everything or every tool or all the information or all the knowledge, because there is much to learn in failure. There's much to learn in the progress of things. And sometimes the biggest hurdle, kind of correlates to what we were talking about before, but sometimes the biggest hurdle is just getting started. Just starting it. And I'm having that. I've had that issue on several things. Of just saying, just making it do what it do and stop playing around or stop questioning myself or stop doubting. And in a way, it's like a wall. It's kind of different. It's so funny because I don't like to quit things, but sometimes I avoid quitting by not even starting. So that's an interesting thought, right?
That's correct.
But isn't it kind of the same thing?
Kind of, sort of. Normally, if you have the guts to get going, it's a little easier, to not quit, because then you can easily be reminded of why you got started. But sometimes, you will not start because you're waiting on the right moment. These kind of all go together. I guess that's why they were, kind of in the list like that. But I think, the reason we don't get started is for fear. And once you do get started, you can be discouraged. But I think it's a little different. I see how you can see where it's the same, but I think it's a little different. I think quitting and not getting started at all are very different. So again, I think if you get started and you have a snag, it may be easier for you to get back on the horse than to not even get on the horse. So, yeah, I see your point.
Okay, that makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah, I think it's a little harder to get started than to be motivated to come back into, to whatever it is you start. So,
I agree for sure on that.
Okay, I was kind of hoping you would talk about the cussing thing, because it's,
But you know what? Okay, let's talk about the cussing thing. Because let me tell you my thoughts on the cussing thing.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's wrong, but I don't really curse.
Okay.
So, even though I think people who do, I don't have a problem with it. That's how they want to express themselves. But maybe I was thinking to myself, like, well, why don't I? Have I just at some point decided that it's not my thing, or I don't find it important, or I don't use it to express myself? But I do use it to express myself if I'm very, very upset, right? But not very casually do I use it to express myself. And I don't know why. It's probably, I don't know. Maybe it's not really a big part of my vocabulary, but I know that people who do curse enjoy it. And maybe I'm missing out on something.
By not cussing?
What you think?
Okay, well, all of my thoughts just went right out the window. But I was listening to a motivational speaker / preacher today, and I was listening to a sermon, and the speaker said something about, if you're hanging around people that motivate you to cuss, then you're hanging around the wrong crowd. And I think it was something like that. I'm paraphrasing because, I was so excited about it. And I think it's terrible to kind of be, doing a brain freeze right now. But it touched me enough to where I figured I would ask someone else to talk about it. I guess it's bad because it's just been, bad because we say it's bad. It's I guess it's a language. It's a way to express yourself. People have different ways of expressing themselves. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's good or bad. I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. I think I don't like the term everything in moderation, but I do think there are some things, there's some places you just don't do certain things. And it's not because it's good or bad. Maybe it's just not appropriate. So to say whether it's good or bad or why it's good or bad is not what I'm going to focus on as much as whether or not it's appropriate. There's certain things that I would not even talk about, or certain tones that I wouldn't take, in public or in a professional or business setting that I would take around, my friends. So I guess in talking it out and taking this long route, the question is, why is cussing bad? I'm going to go on record and say, I'm not going to say why it's good, bad, or ugly, but I can see why it may not be appropriate in quite a few settings. Not because it's good or bad, but because it's what we have adopted to as what I would call not necessarily a universal principle, but a point of reference and just a norm for society. We can all say we agree that there's certain things you just don't say in certain places and at certain times, and everyone kind of sort of knows that. And people who do it anyway, you don't put them in jail or beat them down. But you just say, okay, well, maybe that's just how they are. Maybe they know better. Maybe they don't. But we all, kind of know that it's probably not the appropriate thing to do at certain places. So I'm going to, make my closing on that. I'm not going to say it's good, bad, or bad. I think I do know enough to know when it may or may not be appropriate. And I guess there's going to be someone to say it's never appropriate because you shouldn't let foul things come out of your mouth. Well, I'm not saying it's good, bad, or ugly, but I'm just going to say it's maybe not appropriate in some settings. And that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it.
Well, all right then. Okay.
Got Virginia Nicholson. She's saying hi. Hi, Virginia. How are you? And I'm going to do something off the record real quick.
Virginia.
Yeah, hey, Virginia. R. Monk and Anthony Morrow is here. I'm going to say something to Virginia and Christine. I give out my email address every time, and I'd say, okay, if you want to give me a subject or a topic, and I don't mind talking about it because some people are afraid. I was kind of nervous about coming on talking about cussing. So, if Virginia or Christine, if you have a topic that you'd like to address, that you'd like to talk to me, I'd love to have you as a guest, because my friends are kind of, they won't say it on air, but I know they just do it just because it's me. But, to get some new, fresh, voices on wouldn't be a bad idea. I know my buddies are still going to be there, for as long as I'm attempting this journey to respond to what I believe is inside of me. So, Virginia and Christine, I am summoning you to send me an email to travisbridges2@aol.com. That's Travis Bridges and the number 2 at aol.com. And just give me a topic. I'll talk about it, and maybe I'll have a guest that'll join me in talking about it. Or if you'd like to talk about it, just leave your number, and I'll call you just like I call my other guests during the show, and we will chitty-chat it up. How about that? So, you have been summoned. And our monk, I guess I didn't call her name, so she's just letting me know she's there. Thank you so much. Anyway, we're going to move on now to your topic since we killed all of our 15 minutes. Are you still there? Hello? You with me?
I'm still here.
Okay, just messing with you. Virginia says okay, so we'll see.
I have had in the last 24 hours 2 people communicate with me about something that happened that made them upset, that I thought was not worthy of getting upset, right? And they may not have been so happy about that, but I think sometimes people get so sensitive. And if somebody says something that's not true, why are you getting mad? If you know it's not true, that has nothing to do with you. But I think we get so caught up in what people think, and it makes us up, and we upset ourselves, and it's so trivial. One person, somebody asked a question to someone else about a dog, and in the response, the girl was telling her about the breeder and where she got it from, and she mentioned in the response that it was very expensive, and she used a breeder that was on the higher end. So my friend that got this information was pissed off because she was like, well, how'd she count my pockets? And I was like, well, I didn't read that. She just telling you that it was expensive. The breeder she used was a little on the higher end. So maybe she had experience with different breeders and know that maybe there's a range. But she got it in her feelings that she was trying to say something about her or what she could afford or not.
Okay. Hold on. You said this sounds like you said these were two ladies having this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
And that was it. And so then when I responded to her, because she sent me the message, so she said, I want you to read this. And I read it, and I was like,
Okay, well, let me just respond because I have the gist. I've got the gist of what you're saying. I kind of want to respond to it though, and I'm going to speak for myself. And before I even respond, I want to say I wish you get your feet off my coffee table because you're kind of going down, my lane. I'm kind of sort of dealing with that also, and I'm just going to respond for what I think. I don't know, and I'm going to kind of sort of speak for myself. So, what is the direct question you're asking? And you just tell me if if you're saying what I think you're saying. You're saying, why do people get upset about something that's not true? Is that your specific and direct question?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to try to respond.
When it relates to them.
What I think and, and as it relates to me, kind of sort of 60-40 in that. Because we do have an image. We have a reputation. We have morals, we have character, and we do what we can in the manner that we live our lives to keep that, based on how we want it to see. I think it was Tony Robinson, he was quoting somebody else. He says, the strongest force in the human something is to be consistent with what we believe we are. So if you believe you're something, you're going to try to wake up and be what that is every day, regardless of what it is. So when we have accepted who it is we are and how we want to represent it or be perceived, and someone has tries to taint that, it kind of bothers us. Some people are stronger than others, but I think the reason is I think it's normal. It's kind of normal, in society, maybe in our spirit realm or the spirit part of our being. We probably really don't care and it really doesn't matter. And I think that's where you're probably getting at. Why does it matter? So I'm thinking, from a spiritual perspective, whether you're religious or spiritual or deep or whatever, you really don't care, especially when you know it's not true. But, in our flesh being or in our conscious mind, we kind of want to, keep our image as clean as we can, especially if it is clean. If you wash your car, you don't want birds going on it and you don't want to drive through mud or anything like that. And that's what happens when someone may say something about you or make a statement and it may taint, whatever it is you're trying to portray. So I can see both sides as to why someone will be upset, and then I can see also why someone just may not care. And then it depends on the magnitude. Because if someone says something about you that's criminal, or something that could really hurt your image in your profession, or in any kind of way, it's just not good. So I get it. So
Well,
go ahead.
I understand it. If it is something that I can understand somebody getting upset if someone attacks their character. Yes, but in the case of somebody giving you information, you asked for some information, they gave you information, and, because they mentioned something about the cost of it, I don't think it, I looked at it wasn't a jab at you,
Well, here's another thing too. There's something about that particular situation that just caused me to go, yeah, well, okay. But I'm not going to get into that. But you have to also look at, why people react or overreact at certain times. Any other day, the person probably wouldn't have anything to say or have a second thought about it. However, today, this person may have woke up on, as we would say, on the wrong side of the bed, or may have been dealing with something else that has nothing else at all to do with that. And that happens often. Sometimes we allow our circumstances to cross over into our reality, and it kind of creates that. So you know what? I don't know who you're talking about, and you don't even have to tell me. But I'm just going to say from a safe side, maybe this person was dealing with something else and had nothing else to do with the subject, and they didn't realize it. And maybe you, as their friend, or maybe you could have said something to say, okay, it's really not that big of a deal. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So I think circumstances and different times might make a difference. And WB has joined us. And real quick, WB says image matters, and there's a time and a place for everything. I'm not sure where she was applying that, but I think she was kind of co-signing me when I said your image does matter. If someone is challenging that in some kind of way. But go ahead.
No, I can understand it, and you're absolutely right, because I tend to, when people have I think we talked about it before, when there's some sort of rage or auto or something like that, and people respond, I always, if somebody cut me off as a mad or something, I always say, okay, it's not me, there's just some other stuff is going on in their life. So, and I usually chalk it up as that, but it's just interesting that, like I said, in the last 24 hours, that was one of the instances. Another instance, my friend, her daughter had got upset with her because she said something, and then she got upset because the daughter got upset. And I was like, I'm having difficulty understanding why you're upset. Because it was some stupid petty comment, and she just got all of her feelings again. And I'm like, oh my God! So she's mad now. She's looking at me kind of cross-eyed because I don't get it, right? And I just told her, I said, you know what? It's probably more than what I see, because there's more context here. There's more behind the story than just the situation that happened right now. And I'm just responding based on the situation that happened right now, and I don't know the 25 things that happened in the last 2 weeks, or the other things that are having a build up to it. So when this little thing that happened, now it has blown up bigger because of the other unresolved things. So I get that, and it could be the same one on the other side, because she's not normally like that, and she's not normally caring about, especially when people think about her monetary wise. But and then she was a little taken aback when I was like, I don't see the problem. She just was telling you what it is. So, and then she's like, okay, I guess so, but she can't be trying to count my pockets. And I'm like, but she's not, So it just made me think like, wow, are we that uptight,
Well, yes. To answer your question,
That-
real quick, yes. No, I don't think we're up that tight. We're that uptight. But yeah, different on another day, another time. This person probably wouldn't have given that a second thought. So I think we can just chalk it up to, the severity of it, and then what's going on inside the heart and mind of that person at the time. But when I just so I don't know. That's where I'll leave it at. I'll leave it at the circumstances. WB just said, example, a straight man doesn't want other people thinking he's the opposite. I guess that can, you can put that in. If a person is one thing and someone has the impression that they are the other, not that it matters, but, you kind of want, what's on the outside. If I say that, there's a saxophone in this case and I open it up and it's a trumpet, or it's shaped like a saxophone and then I open it up and it's a clarinet, you kind of want to be, consistent with who you, say you are. And when that gets challenged, people do different things. Did I lose you? Ooh, I think I did lose my caller. See if I can get my caller back. How did that happen? Ooh. Who knows? But let's see. I've got to hang up anyway. Thank you for hanging out with me. This is Swym, Pwym. I'm Travis Bridges, and we're talking tonight. Hey, I don't know what happened. You seem like you're doing a lot of moving around, but we're going to cut it short anyway. I do have another caller. But I want to know if you have anything else to say on that. I think circumstances, play a part in how and why people respond different ways. Because as I said, whoever your friends are or whoever the people were you were referring to probably would not respond that same way on a different day. But then again, as WB said, image does matter, and you don't want someone thinking that you're selling, peanuts when you're selling diamonds. So if someone says, "Oh, you're over here selling peanuts," it's like, wait, what are you talking about? These are clear, So anyway, so I think we've covered that pretty good. As much as I'd love to keep you, I'm going to go ahead and let you go.
No problem.
Any more thoughts on that?
No, I'm good.
Well,
I'm clear.
I appreciate you, and I love you just the same.
I feel the same way. Thank you so much.
And before you go, I just want you to know I am on my journey. Within the next few weeks, I will be officially starting my third CD project. I will be writing that book that I've been threatening to write. I'm really getting myself in position to start doing that. I'm going to, study some foreign languages, in the next few days. And it's just like, I've been waiting to do this for a long time, and I'm, putting myself in position to where I can actually start. So hopefully maybe this time next year, we'll be doing a live stream with a listening party and a release party of a book and a CD. Who knows? Just wanted you to know to, keep your fingers crossed, send me out some good energy. Definitely be in prayer. And I'd appreciate that. Okay.
Yes, sir. All day, every day.
All right. So we'll be talking. I love you.
Love you too. Have a good night.
Okay. Bye. Oh, find somebody you need to say I love you to, and don't just say it. Show it, okay?
Sure will.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. That was my buddy, and I can't thank her enough for hanging out with me. This is Swym, Pwym. Say what you mean, play what you mean. I'm Travis Bridges. This is a spinoff from the COVID concert series that will be returning within the next week or two. I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. I'm going to say in the month of July, I will start back my live stream with my horn, and I'll be playing some music while I'm working on my CD project, as I just mentioned. And who knows, maybe I'll combine the two. Maybe I'll talk a little bit and play a little bit. Going to be hard to do it at the same time, but you know what I mean. So anyway, I've got some topics tonight, and I'm going to get to my other caller. Why is cussing so bad? Why the truth is just not enough, and not waiting for the perfect time. Why should we? Why do we try to wait for the perfect time to make a change when we know we need to make it? We got to wait for things to be perfect. All right, I'm guilty of it. and not quitting when we do hit a wall, when we start something, you know, how to continue to persevere and endure, as Sister Hunter would say, you know, not quitting when we do get discouraged or we have, you know, setbacks and whatnot. And as my buddy Les Brown would say, you don't have to be great to get started, but in order to be great, you have to get started. Oh no, that's not what he said. He said, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great. I kind of like that, so I kind of stole it just for a day. But I'm going to get my other caller on so that I can keep it moving here. Swym, Pwym, if you have a subject that you'd like for me to address or that you'd like to chat with me on, send it to TravisBridges2 at AOL.com. That's Travis Bridges and the number 2 at AOL.com. I'm not... Hello?
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, but it sounds like you got like a pillow on your head or something. I don't know. You know, I'm kind of a stickler with my sound, and I can't hear you that good. And I want to hear your beautiful voice. Can you do something?
I'm speaking as loud as I
Oh, no.
can.
Whatever you did, that ding, 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 that's beautiful. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad at all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We've got 13 minutes to make it do what it do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my topics, and then you're going to tell me which one you would like to address. And then if you have something you'd like to say, then I'll let you do it. Because I just like talking. I think we should talk more. I think we should get to the bottom of things, especially if there's any kind of misunderstanding or disagreement. We should talk and then talk some more and make sure we hear, make sure we understand, make sure we convey what it is we really mean. Say what you mean what you say, play what you mean, and say what you mean. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you these subjects, and you tell me which one you liked the best. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
One, why cussing is so bad. Cussing, C-U-S-S-I-N, not cursing or using profanity, cussing. So why cussing is so bad. Why the truth is not enough. The truth not being enough. That's number 2. Number 3, not waiting for the perfect time to make a change. And number 4, not quitting when we hit a wall. Number 5, this is more of just a statement of encouragement, and it says, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great. So do I need to repeat those, or do you remember them? And which one would you like to address?
I would like to address the cussing.
No.
Why not?
Because I'm a little nervous about talking about. I have some of my friends that might hear this, and if I'm talking about a very sensitive subject like cussing, you know, I don't want them to think bad of me, because I know we're not supposed to be overly concerned about what someone thinks. But cussing in society is kind of frowned upon. So as I addressed with my other caller, I'm not going to go on record saying it's good or bad or whether it's right or wrong. I'm just going to slide in my little comment that it may not be appropriate in every place, and everything should be done in decent and in order. So whether it's good or bad, you know, you probably don't need to be doing that in a certain place or with a certain person, right, or at a certain time, because there's a season and a time and a place for everything. So I'm just going to leave it right there and let you take a whack at it. What do you think about cussing? Why is cussing bad?
Well, I think it's a difference, like you said. It's cursing and cussing. And when you are cussing, I think that's coming from, that's feelings, that's emotion, that's coming out. That's just raw feeling. You just can't find any other words to say but those nasty cuss words. But when you're cursing, that's just, you know, just regular conversation. People just say it, you know, just...
But hold on a second. Stop. Hold on. We're not talking about cursing. We're talking about cussing. We'll talk about cursing another night. We're talking about, you know, there are 4-letter words that we know that may not be appropriate in certain settings and that people may use. They may use them publicly or privately. They may say them in their head. You know, we know based on what society and our, you know, caretakers have told us, it's probably not a good thing to say. and especially in certain religions, it's just god awfully forbidden. But we're not talking about cursing. We're talking about when you drop that frying pan on your toe, one of those things that come out of your mouth is not cursing. It's just one of those things. Hey, hey.
That's the word.
So yeah. So why is cussing bad?
Well, like I said, because it's emotion. When you're cussing, that's when you're angry. That's when you can't find the words to say because you're so angry, so you got to cuss to get it out. When you cuss, it kind of makes you feel good. I'm only speaking about me. When you cuss, when you're really that angry and you just can't find those words that get a good cuss word out, I feel better.
Okay. All right. So
I
you
don't have
think...
to put my hands on anybody as long as I get the cuss words out. Like, those are my punches. Those are, instead of physically attacking you, I can cuss you out and I feel better.
So it's therapeutic.
Yes, that's a good word for it.
WB says some people don't like extra flavor added to the convo. Okay, I can see where that makes sense. Some people just don't like to hear it. Why do you have to say that? I get it, But anyway, so I'm just going to stop right there. I'm going to address that again because I didn't say what I had intended to say about cussing. So I'm going to definitely raise that question again. But before I move on to the next subject, would you like to share something with me? I think I've been talking too much, and my water is way over there. Come over here, water. Go ahead.
It just left my brain. Oh my God! I was on the tip of my tongue. I haven't talked about it. I just remembered.
And can you keep it clean? We only have like 8 minutes.
Okay, so what I want to ask you is, how do you feel about marriage in 2021 for a person in their 50s or late 50s who's never been married? Do you think it's a possibility that a person that hasn't been married yet can get married or in these times find a soulmate?
Okay, I heard about 4 different things, and I really want to be careful before I respond to that. So we're talking about marriage or a person in their 50s.
Finding a soulmate. I put soulmate. Just even, I'm touching on marriage. I'm saying marriage. That's what I want to address, marriage. Someone being married who's never been married before, at this day and age, this time, do you think it's possible?
Well, I'm from a school of where anything is possible. May not necessarily be likely, but you said possible and you can't change it. So I'm going to respond according to what came out of your mouth, because I know you probably meant something else, and we can definitely discuss what you may have meant. But you said, is it possible?
Okay.
So I'm going to address what you said, and that is, well, yeah, it's possible. Is it likely? I'm gonna say it depends on the circumstances and the preparation, but probably not. Because, not that it can't happen, because we already said it's possible. But if you're,
Right.
in your 50s, and then it also determines if you are a man or a woman, but I will not address that right now. This is just my thoughts. So I'm just gonna, try to be careful in saying, if an individual, is in their 50s and they've never been married, their circumstances at that time will definitely play a role in whether or not they will either ask someone or someone will ask them. And it definitely will be based on their preparedness. I think when you're ready, success is, how does it go? Success is when preparation meets opportunity. I think if an individual is prepared when the opportunity comes, yes, it is very likely, and it has more to do with how prepared you are as opposed to whether or not it's just going to happen because you may want it to. And I think there's certain things that, that kind of commitment requires. And if a person, an individual, is prepared and they have the opportunity, sure, they can be successful. But by the age 50, you know, the chances of that happening are a whole lot less likely than if you are probably in your early 20s. So I hope I answered your question, and if I didn't, you can ask it again and I'll try to clarify.
Well, for the sake of time, I'll let that one go for right now.
Okay, so
I'll accept that response.
okay, tell me exactly what you're accepting.
I'm accepting the fact that you're saying that it is possible that it could happen. However, but it is, like you said, it's based on the individual and the timing.
Okay. All right. So why don't we put that there and we can pick it up another time. I can't thank you enough for hanging out. I thought I would have more time with you, but I kind of got, real good with my first caller, and I appreciate her being there for me, just like I appreciate you. And before I go, I've got 3.5 minutes and some change. My reason for doing this is not because I'm trying to be famous or popular or anything like that. I believe that I have something to say. I believe I've always had something to say. I just never had the opportunity to say it, and I'm not sure if I was prepared. But what I'm trying to do is prepare myself for, a better or a different opportunity. And just by not waiting until I'm great, to start, but just starting so that I can at least be better at it. I believe that there's a lot of chaos in the world. I believe that people fuss and fight too much, and I believe that we are here to bring about peace. And I think if we can just listen to each other a little more and be open to the truth and understanding, that we can have a whole lot more peace if we're considerate and we're open to the truth. So that's why I'm here. I appreciate your support and helping me. Everybody else that's in the chat room and that are watching now and that may be watching next week, next month, next year, next 10,000 years. I'm hoping that what's inside of me will flourish or manifest to where the message of if we will take our time and listen, not just listen but hear, and not just hear but understand, and then not just listen, hear, and understand, but make sure we heard, make sure we understood, and make sure we heard well, and then make sure that we express ourselves based on what we mean. And then when we run all of that through the filters of, first of all, universal principles, points of references, and even the law, that we can be okay with what we discover and find a way to deal with how we feel when it comes to exploring the truth. Because one of my favorite books says, when you know the truth, it will set your hair on fire if you had some. Since I don't, I won't talk about hair, so I'll just say, when we know the truth, it will set us free. And I've got Anthony Morrow in the house saying, no one of those 4-letter words are heard in primetime TV shows. Yeah, right. I got your point. Yep, he's right on that one. Listen, I've got 1.5 minutes to go. I'm going to let you close me out. Say what you got to say so that I can get on my way.
I'm just so thankful to God that you are doing what you're doing. I want to encourage you to keep doing it because there's a purpose behind your purpose.
Thank you. And just real quick, I told my last caller, I am positioning myself now to finally record my third CD project and write my book. And, I've been infatuated about learning a foreign language. So I'm going to be embarking upon that over the next few weeks. And I'm positioning myself to do that. So do me a favor, send out some good positive energy, cross your fingers, and definitely pray. Whatever it takes, just wish me well, as I embark upon this. I feel like I'm going away to college, for a little while so that I can, better myself. And that's all I'm doing. And I'm not waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect time. I've done that long enough. So here I am. Thank you so much. And as you go, find somebody you need to say I love you to and say it to them. Would you do that for me?
Alrighty. Love you, Scott.
Oh, not just me. Listen, everybody else, not just saying it, but I want you to just show it too. So don't just say it. Find a way to say it and show it, okay? Because we need to do a little more of that. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. You have a good day. Hey, you'll consider coming back with me next week?
Of course.
Now, when I get some other, callers, I'm gonna kind of cut y'all short, right? You know how it is. You know
I
how,
got it.
you know I'm kind of sort of using you.
You got the prune to grow. You got the prune to grow. So
Right. So don't think I'm funny when I say, hey, I'm gonna call you next week. Whenever Oprah says she wants to talk to me this week, and I don't call you, don't get mad at me, okay? Oh my God, I gotta go. It's time to go. They're calling me from the back saying go. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Okay, take care. Have a good night. Okay, love you.
You too.
Bye.
You too. Good night.
Bye. That's another edition of Swym Pwym. I'm Travis Bridges. I'll be back next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, find somebody you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it, but find a way to show it. Until then, take good care of yourself and be good, okay? Bye.